so I know who you are. All right, it is October 4th, Wednesday night, 10:20. And oh no, you left. Was it because I said that? So I am starting this live stream after quite a long week and a half, nearly 2 weeks, and it's going to be continuing on. Somehow and for some reason, October became massively, insanely busy, and the party is not over yet. But there are quite a few things. Initially, I wanted to do a live stream review of the show that I went to this past Sunday at Osaka Shovel. If you guys have been following MNN and have been listening in on the reviews I've given, even the interviews, a lot of it is from Osaka Shovel, and it just happens to be that case. It is the most popular venue in Osaka that at least the bands that I'm interested in have come to. But there are still quite a few. And what I wanted to do tonight on my end, maybe today, this morning for some of you out there, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, maybe a good night. I know I am not Truman, but let me just start off and say, as I said, that it was a really, really hectic past couple of weeks. Grateful, thankful, really just kind of blown away by what people did to kind of help me out along the way. But let's start with having gone to Hiroshima a couple of weeks ago. That was on the 23rd. And then the following weekend, I had not expected to, but I ended up at Takamatsu as well. And Takamatsu is where I received, goodness, where did it go? Where did you go? Don't go anywhere. Takamatsu was where I received Miku's pick. I received Miku's pick, ended up getting YYY, Youth, goodness, Brightest Star, Miki's new song, and a whole plethora of other goodness and greatness. Michael Barber had made the Konami little face on a stick. Did you guys get to see that? If you haven't, check out the Takamatsu tattoo, and you'll see pics of that. But that went a long way. Man, they had so much fun with that. And then ended up getting to talk to Miku a couple of times and her interacting with me. I was feeling really, really energetic and obnoxious that day, and I think it was a smaller crowd, so I was just throwing out stuff as they were doing MC, and she was throwing it back, and that's always fun. So Takamatsu was a really, really good show. Now, what happened actually, and this is sort of what I want to get into, is that this past year, and do you guys, I don't know if you know this, but the very first video that was aired on MNN was November 4th. And today in Japan, it's October 4th. So we're a month away from our anniversary, which is really, really cool. But within that year, a lot of crazy stuff has happened, and I wanted to talk to you a little about just some of those things. And you might be interested, you might not be, but it'll kind of give you some insight, I think, into maybe some of the bands or the music industry or how things work. And just some of the cool things that have been happening for me personally. As you know, I kind of fell madly head over heels for Hades. Right? And if you do look and see, my setup is a bit different. And I mentioned this previously, but there is a reason why. in that I was asked by Hades if I would interpret a couple of their interviews. And I can talk about this now because of the fact that it has been announced on both of the interviews. The first is with Brutality, SGBC, Super Galactic Brew Crew, I believe, and they're huge cheerleaders for Whiskey Dust. And you can go ahead and check out their interviews with Whiskey Dust. And coming up this weekend, if all goes well, an interview with Hades. And I was there in the Zoom session to help interpret. And throughout the course of the weeks prior, I was like, okay, well, can you give me questions in advance? Can you give me answers in advance, just in case there's any room for confusion? And this is the first time I've ever tried to interpret like on the spot, um, without having to, without being able to look at a dictionary, look at a translator, go through all this stuff, which is what I usually do for my interviews that are in Japanese. And I differ realize that I'm still way, way, way away from where I need to be, where I want to be for Japanese. Hi, Onishi-san, how are you? Onishi-san, who was in the chat room, you guys can say hi to him. He is with Blacklisted Records, who actually both Hades, the Sheglapes, there's Pinkish Crown. Sala is also an artist under the label, a huge number, and he's been really supportive from the start. Oh, Bill, thank you so much, man. Um, yeah, what I came to realize this past year, thank you so much, Bill. What I came to realize this year was that I am in a very special and fortunate, just blessed predicament in that I am in Japan, in that I do speak some Japanese, and that I speak English. I think I'm pretty good. I ain't so bad at my English. And due to that fact and my love for music and some knowledge and understanding of it, I was able to find my way um, into places and doing a lot of things that I didn't think I would. I just didn't even imagine it. Um, so it's really incredible. Now, so I got to interview. Okay, so I did interpret for the Brutality SGBC interview, which should be coming up again this weekend. I believe Friday your time. I also got to interpret for the Foxhole. And I've mentioned previously because we interviewed one of the co-hosts, Russ Henry, who is also a huge Bandmeat fan. So I ended up interpreting for those two interviews the Saturday morning before I took off for Takamatsu. So I was up probably around 7:30. Started getting ready, had to shower, look kind of decent. I had to put on clothes, which I don't really like doing. Be clean. So I did all that stuff, did the interviews, and I had to take off right away for the Shinkansen. Went to Takamatsu, had an amazing time, was dead tired. Um, and then the following day, I had to come back to Osaka and then go to Osaka Women's Power. Now, Osaka Women's Power is sort of this festival of all these these girl bands, rock bands, metal bands. And it was where I first met Hades, uh, now going on 7 months ago. Hey, hello, Peter, fellow Peter. That was where I first met Hades, and it's interesting my experience then and what it was this time around because I had just interpreted for them. They were so thankful that I got some shumai, which is like little dumplings. I got some sweets from them. Mile, the drummer, gave me her little birthday shirt, Mile Fest, and she signed it. She signed it, But she was like, "Oh my gosh, it's coming out so crappy." I'm like, "It doesn't matter. Crappy's fine. Just anything is okay." So she hooked me up with the shirt. It was the first time that I had ever actually gone to a venue and said, and the guy knows me. I've been there like 8 times at least this year, within the span of 6 months. And I had gotten him some green tea. Yeah, he was. I got him some green tea because the weather's really hot, and he was like passing out tickets, and he works hard. So, um, but yeah, I said my name, and then he goes, "Oh yeah, guest of Hades." I just had to pay the drink fee, which is like 600 yen, and then I walked in, and that was wild because I've never been a guest of a show. And this is where it gets kind of interesting, and this is where I'm getting a better sense of the Japanese music industry and just how much of an impact it makes on what label you're under, what management you're under, what you're able to do, what you can't do, the freedom you have as an artist, or maybe the freedom that you don't have as an artist. And that day, I was really, really tired. And honestly, I was like, should I just stay home and sleep? Sleep sounds really, really good after just the weekend I had. Um, but I was like, no, I have to go. I have to go. I have to see Hades. And I had promised them I'll take photos and do some videos for them, and I was happy to, because I had done all these photos and videos for other bands, but I had never up until this time done one for Hades besides the interview. So I was really, really happy to do that. And then I thought, okay, well, I am tired. I don't want to do this full-on interview that day. So why don't I just kind of go there, see how it goes? And I was like, all right, come on, Peter, suck it up. Um, some of you may not know this, but I am somewhat of an introvert. And I can turn things on when I have to or when I'm just in that moment. But otherwise, I kind of like keeping a distance, and I try to be polite, but I'm not always the warmest person, and don't take it personally, but that's just kind of how I am. And so that day I had to sort of turn myself on and say, okay, it doesn't matter what you're feeling. You want to try to reach out to some of these bands, see if you can take pictures, possibly plan some interviews. And now with Hades, I was really, really fortunate that they were the first band that I asked, because they have so much control over what they choose to do as a band. And so they decided that sure, let's do an interview. But when I went that day, a few bands, or three of the bands that are under Zillion Mode, Full Moon, there is Empress, and there's Sirius. And I'm not sure if you guys know those other bands. So Full Moon has been around for nearly 12 years, I think. So they've been around for a while. Even though the lineup has changed quite a bit. The most recent being Aoi, the drummer. But with the two other bands, Empress and Sirius, major, major change-ups. It's pretty wild. Um, and so it really felt like different bands that night. Empress got a new singer, and you guys need to understand just how much of a difference a lead singer makes in a band. Do you guys remember Van Halen with David Lee Roth, and then Van Hagar with Sammy Hagar? And then when it went to, was it Gary Sharon, who used to do Extreme, and how much of a difference that made, regardless of the fact that both Michael and Anthony, Eddie Van Halen, Alex was in the back. It's a massive difference. So there was a huge difference in the feel and the attitude. New bassist as well, so that made a big difference. Her name was Mari, and we spoke a little bit of Korean together. So if you ever see her, speak a little bit of Korean because she knows it. But they did a great job though. Sirius ended up having a new guitarist and also a new bassist. So these things make a difference. But I actually went to actually for I went to Full Moon and I asked Rin, the bassist, who I think is actually really, really cool. And a really quick little anecdote is If you ever see full moon, whether it be like a twit casting or in person and alive, she is one of the most awesome headbangers like I've ever seen. It's so strong and like, man, it cuts like an axe. But I asked if I could maybe take photos just to help promote the band. She goes, "Oh, I'm not actually sure because we need to kind of ask the management." And same thing with an interview. And as I started asking around, it was like, "Oh, sorry, we don't know. We have to ask. We have to ask." And I had never encountered this before, so it was a really new experience for me. The same thing with Paradox. With Paradox, I had asked them if they would be okay with maybe an interview at some point. Like, okay, well, maybe you can email. And then, was that it? One, two, three. And then Risky Melody. Risky Melody was also there. They actually had Risky Melody just released their new album, and they had their first one man for it tonight. Our friend Michael Barber is there. Another gentleman that I've interviewed before shortly, Derek Stevenson from Canada, is there. Um, and so I think they had a blast. But I had asked Asami, the guitarist, who I've known for the past year, because I had met her in January. We talked a lot, and she said, "Oh, sorry, no photos." So it was really interesting how I had requested or asked for these things, and it was like, sorry, no, ask the management," and that was an obstacle I had never encountered. I just kind of figured, oh, the bands will just decide, but it's not the case. So realizing there's a huge difference, um, and as you know, I mean, management style, as it differs, will affect how things are run, how things are done, the decisions that are made, what's allowed, what's not. And it gave me a lot more insight, and it made me a lot more grateful for the fact that when I had spoken with Hades, when I had spoken with the Sheglapes, even Pinkish Crown, another group, Electric Mama, um, Majesty and the Saga, they were more open and free about it, and it was fine. So it was an eye opener. I mean, I guess I should have expected that. I think with other maybe bigger bands, the management has a lot more say in things. And it was just a new encounter. So it's something that I am definitely keeping in mind. And it'll definitely affect how I approach things and how I speak to people about things. Um, so as much as I was fortunate to get all the interviews I did this past year, man, it's shocking to me that it wasn't until recently that I've gotten sort of these like sorry no, sorry no. No, Risky Melody. They actually had two new girls helping out with selling merch and taking photos. So I'm pretty sure they're under new management. Hey, Michael, how's it going? Um, believe they're under new management, and so that's affecting, I think, how things are being run and what's being allowed. So again, I don't know all the details. I think because it's really only been 6, 7 months since I've been doing this and starting to talk to bands, um, I can only say that I'll definitely learn a lot more about how things are being run, and it's not going to all be the same. We can't assume that just because they're a Japanese band that, oh, Japanese bands all are managed the same way. They're all run by the same type of people or the same type of system, because that's not the case. So, and again, I want to say I'm really fortunate. I am so thankful. Again, I can't explain how thankful I am that I got to again interview Hades and meet them first, because they're just such cool girls. And just looking at the gratitude from them, and just how just gracious and just friendly they were to me. I couldn't have asked for just a better band to have met in the first place. Now, that was that night. And what was really cool also that night was that because I've gotten closer with the girls of Hades for, again, helping them out in various ways, and I'm so happy to. The idea that I can help promote them to the world at large is like a gift to me. I'm lucky to be able to do this. Um, but one of the perks is that, and again, a part of speaking, being able to speak some Japanese, is that unfortunately I did miss Full Moon's session. But I was outside hanging out with Mayo, hanging out with Yuri, and just talking about stuff. A lot of different little insights. Just sharing. Toranoko, I'm hoping. Um, but they said they were really, really busy, and I said, "How about a little short one?" So they may get back to me, they may not. I'm not really sure, but I will say that with Risako, the bassist, and with Keiko, the drummer, so friendly. They're so sweet. They're like, you know, your the next door girls just hanging out. I didn't really get a chance to talk to Mizuki, the guitarist, or with Mother Yanagi, who is the singer, Toranoko. I would love to interview them. I do think that they are going to start getting some more promotion done. And I know that Ryan is a huge proponent of that band, so look out for stuff from him probably. Mm, I we'll talk more. Onishi-san, you can teach me things. I am open to learn. I think we can help each other in a lot of ways, and I'll see you. That actually reminds me. I will be going out to Nagoya this Saturday to see Hades again. The headlining band is actually Vanishing, which is an awesome three-piece male punk slash rock metal band. Um, like their feel, like their attitude, their look, it feels much more punk, but especially because of the guitarist. I don't know their names, but the guitarist has a bit of a metal edge to what he plays and how he does, how he sounds. So, and then a group called Hell Dump, Hell like hell, and then Dump. They're a pretty interesting band. If you're curious to see, check out one of their videos. It's really cool. Yeah, and there's some really cool stuff coming up, and I'm actually going to be able to talk to Onishi-san, who is here in the chat. And what I've discovered is he's a really awesome guy, and I can't thank him enough for just being such a cool guy. Now here's something that I kind of feel like maybe I'm not bragging. Even though it maybe sounds like it. It's just I've been very fortunate for these things to happen. Um, Maybe because I've just been really willing to help out, and I'm not asking for anything in return. I mean, it's great if I get sweets, and I get a hug from Mayo for helping them out. I'm not gonna refuse that, but that's not what I'm doing it for. And another really cool thing is that Kanye Keiko, who is the vocalist for the Sheglapes, she actually wanted to meet with me so that I could help her out with her English. To what extent and to what purpose? There's various things, and I don't want to share like everything, um, but uh, let's just say she's incredibly down to earth, and we hung out. I mean, I was teaching, she was learning. We talked a lot about just sort of her background and sort of her goals and just the industry. Um, it was really bizarre, to be honest. Yes, I have a good friend. That is correct. I have a good friend. So we hung out for nearly 6 hours at Starbucks, and then we ended up grabbing dinner together and just talking. And she's not a stalker. Don't call her that. That's messed up. But one of the things that Keiko wants to do, and I asked her if it was okay if I shared this, and she said it was fine. But she's really ballsy. She doesn't have that much shame, which is really cool. She's just like, that's fine, whatever. I mean, like, that's okay. Um, but she wants to take on doing English covers of songs. But she knows that uh, English is not exactly, and pronunciation for English is not exactly a forte for any foreign speaker. That goes for any which way between one language to another. Um, but yeah, so she wants to do English covers. So I spent a lot of time helping her with one song that she chose, and we worked on that for a while. And again, just talking about things and more insight and just I man, I think for me, I love to see these artists and these bands up on stage doing their thing, and it is really something to behold. It is amazing. It is just um, it is mind blowing what some of these bands do when they're on stage, and just I mean the kind of energy they output. Um, I'm not gonna get into that. um, did you guys know? Sorry, this is a little. In Korean, I think a lot of you guys do know this, but in Korean, when a girl is addressing an older guy, as sort of big brother, she calls him oppa, oppa. That's all I'll say. Um, and then you guys can take it from there, or Peter can. Who is this guy? Who is this guy? Get out of here. um, yeah, no, I really appreciate seeing these performers being as phenomenal as they are, and then to interact with them on a very, very human level, a very personal level, and in ways that very few people do. Especially, I think, if you're a foreigner. So, to me, it's crazy that I have the fortune of getting those opportunities. And honestly, I can't wait for more. I can't wait for more opportunities like this, where I can talk to more bands, get closer to them as a friend, as someone who can really help them and their bands to get out to the world. And it's just more and more I find myself really, really just wanting for these bands to be as big as possible, to get to places where I think that they can be and they should be. And I think all of us can agree, we've thought at some point or another with one band or another, and especially if you're watching this as an eminent subscriber, as a bandmate fan, you know for a fact that if you ever go online and people are talking about bandmate, it's like it's crazy that Bandmate isn't bigger. Why isn't Bandmate bigger? Bandmate should be the biggest band in the world. They're the best, all these things. Yes, the reason why, Michael, that this deco changed is that I had two very specific interviews done with Hades as an interpreter. And because I was doing interviews and there is video attached to those interviews, I thought, well, the best thing that I can do is to support them not just by what I say, but in what I show. And when you've got it, flaunt it. That's what I say. And there's a lot of other bands that I put up here just because, you know, to be honest, Bandmade doesn't need me. I want to be there for them, but in terms of where they are now, they don't need me. They don't need, I think, as much underground roots type of promo as they used to before. They've got the whole machine behind them. They've got all these videos up. They've got all these live shows up. You know, they've got Live Nation. They've got Pony Canyon. So, but if I can do my part to just introduce some of these bands, support them, you know, I have Toronokorami, I have Saiseiga, I have the Sheglapes, I have Electric Mama, Brideer. Over on this side, I have Let It Out Lelia, I have Whiskey Dust. I mean, I have all these things. Um, and again, the reason why is just that these smaller bands, it's like at one point in time, Bandmade was a very small club band, and they were doing small club venues. And they're even doing those this year in Japan. and they found people who loved their music and loved them. Maybe start another channel. What would you suggest, Steve? What um I'm not sure about Genisu. It's possible. I mean, anything is possible. But Steve, what would you suggest if I were to start another channel, maybe under the umbrella of MNN? What would you want to see, or maybe expect to see of these other bands and other people who are just watching, who are in the chat? Please let me know, because um, you know, I I'm here in Japan and I have the opportunity to do a lot of things that not many people do, and to expose, I think, bands in a way that not many people can. So, yeah, they've grown. Hold on, guys. Am I here? I hope so. Let me see what's going on. Okay, guys, real quickly. Give me just a second. Am I still here? I hope so. Um, man, my connection with my phone and with everything else. Yeah. Okay, great. Awesome. Um, so, a couple of other things that I've been doing, especially more recently, is doing photos for bands if they allow. And I've been doing these concert reviews, but in the US, I don't. Next year, if Bandmate does do US shows next year, I think it'll only be like maybe a month, if if that. No, maybe a month. I don't think anything more than that. But they're not gonna come back because they gotta go to other places too. And you know that Europe is waiting, South America is waiting, Asia is waiting. Um, so, and Bandmaid's not going anywhere except to the top. Now, um, oh, so when I was, hold on. Yeah, so when I was thinking about what I could do, again, there's a lot of different opportunities that I've been getting. And if bands give me the okay, then I'm definitely, open to doing more stuff and helping to promote them. But at the same time, this is Made News Network, and that is something that will not change, and that's something that I will not take away. That neither SJ or I want for this channel. We made this channel specifically for Bandmade, and it will always be primarily Bandmade. Although there is that sliver of what I'm doing again because I have the opportunity. Um, but I think we'll start to figure our way out, and I think in the future things may change. They'll adjust as I think opportunities change, as I think our perspective of things change. But this is Made News Network, so that will not ever be forgotten. And this is not only I think a channel, but I believe that this is also a community that all of us really appreciate. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate the community that has been here for me in so many ways. Had it not been for you guys, um, I mean, really, just I think I'd be lost a lot of times, and I'd probably just be home a lot of times had it not been for you guys. Um, yeah, so there are quite a few different shows coming up, but I probably won't be able to add extras. Mm, so let me kind of get through some of the bands. Well, this whole year we'll be finishing up all the tattoos. We will be doing every show that comes up, whether it be just as one tattoo or two in one. We've done that a few times before, both in the States and then here, uh, and all the way up into Yokohama. Along with Yokohama, which will be the last show for Bandmate this year, and probably their announcements, new outfits, album, again, like other tours. I will be seeing other bands along the way. I will be seeing Asterism, Dizzy Sunfist, thanks to Michael Barber, The Sheglapes again, Sega in December, Bride Year, and Asterism. They'll be together at like a metal show. Toronokorami again. So those are some of the bands that I'll be seeing. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. J rock and J metal do rule. It's again, it's staggering. Um, my head spins considering the kind of talent, the kind of just amazing music, the great songs that there are. Um, so with that said, getting back to Yokohama, um, I guess I can share a little bit. I may not be able to go to Yokohama Arena um, due to some constraints. Um, yeah. So due to that, it sounds strange. I am hoping that I'll be able to get out there, uh, but there's a possibility that that may not happen. It's not the end of the world. Um, but yeah, so there are other things in my personal life that are happening, and due to personal things happening in my personal life, I don't know. But let's just say I hope I'm there, and I hope even if I'm not, that you guys are there too. Yeah, thanks, Michael. Thanks so much. But uh, yeah, it's really been interesting. I've just been massively busy, seeing all these bands, these shows, and interacting in a lot of different ways. Peter's excellent adventures in Nihon. Well, I need a bill, or is it a TED? I don't know. Would it just be me? Am I going to be the lone stallion? Um, yeah, it's been wild. It's been really crazy. I am experiencing things that I didn't expect to. So actually, one of the things that I know I personally want to do, um, one of the things that I personally want to do, thanks. One of the things that I personally want to do is to, because I used to want to be a musician. Just say it. Um, okay. I fine, SJ. I am in between jobs right now. And what in between jobs means is that I am currently out of a job. Something's happened recently that made it that way. I wasn't fired. So if I'm not fired, then, and due to that fact, I'm a bit free floating. And because I am free floating, I would love to be a professional promoter, but I can't just decide that. Um, all right, that'll be my goal. Since now that I'm in between jobs, I'll get a shoulder massage from Asterism, and that'll make everything better. I will be seeing Asterism as well at one of their free shows in Osaka, but yeah, due to that fact, that's why I'm not sure about Nagoya. I am a freelance one right now for sure. I am absolutely promoting the hell out of certain bands. I am doing things that other people would get paid a pretty fair amount for. Um, but it's not something, yeah, I would love to have a job in marketing, promoting, whether it be online or it be more like event oriented, any of those things. Um, and I feel like my whole secret moonlighting life outside of everything else that I've done in Japan has been towards that, just promoting, promoting, promoting. And I've definitely developed certain skills due to that. So, but I do intend to look more into not just jobs in that area, but also jobs in that area, but also reading up more on the music industry. I did want to be a musician at one point and read up on it way back in the day. So I am working on doing that now. So I'll be reading up on stuff. I will be developing my Japanese even more because even though I have an N2 in the JLPT, N1 is the highest, my Japanese still is not that great. Believe it or not, even though you think it is, it's not. Because I still maybe only understand about 15 to 20%. Oh, thanks, man. I got charisma. I got Riz. I got Riz. No, you know what? I can't be a guitar tech. I am not that technical. Even as a musician, when I play guitar or when I was up in front leading, um, I just, I think I'm more of a rhythm guy, and I think I'm more of just a front man in terms of just like not being too focused on like all the notes. Although I'm not terrible. I'm not terrible. I've got a few videos on Twitter. If you're interested in seeing that, I'll maybe put a link or two below. But otherwise, guitar tech, maybe not. Manager, it's possible. Promoter, I'm always open to that. Marketing, graphics, photography, all that stuff. Those are things that I've just developed a love for over, the past any number of years. Roadie, hey, I probably will not get paid the amount that I would need to survive well, but if I can hang out with the bands and talk with them and move stuff for them, I've one of the things I have three older sisters, and so one of the things that I have innately maybe just ingrained into me is that I need to help people, especially girls when they're carrying heavy stuff. So when Let It Out Lydia was here in Osaka, I saw them moving like insanely heavy amps up a small staircase. And I was like, no, 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 let me help you, let me help you. So, I've kind of done roadie work too. I've helped Sala or Sada, I've helped Let It Out, I helped Hades this past weekend. Um, hey, if anybody needs help, I'm pretty good at that. But yeah, I appreciate that. Bodyguard. I'm so small. I don't, I don't know how much I would be able to guard. I don't know how well the girls are pretty small, right? It's just the girls are small. I guess I could guard their body, even though I have a small body as well. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember seeing you there, Peter. Actually, I do remember you picking up Mayo and giving her a hug. And she was like, "Oh, I'm sweating, I'm sweating, I'm sweating." Um, yeah, it's been a crazy year, and I don't know where this year is gonna lead to, and once it ends, what next year will bring. This channel in itself and what it's accomplished. And again, not just because of me and SJ, even though I think we've both done some pretty good stuff. I am always, even though SJ is a co-host and a friend, I am so impressed with him, and you guys should be too if you aren't. If you're not impressed with SJ, be impressed with SJ and tell him so. Um, because the things that he plans out and that he puts together, um, there aren't that many people who can do that. I'll tell you that right now. Who are willing to do the work, who are willing to put in just the sweat and the grind. Um, I was about to go somewhere I shouldn't, but yeah. And I'll say not only on top of all the stuff that SJ does, I appreciate the fact that number one is that he's a family man. That is something that I'm so grateful for, even though I keep on nagging him about leaving his family and moving to Japan and joining me in my one man adventure so far. But he refuses. He says his family is more important, and I'll let it go because I have no other choice. But I appreciate him a lot. So he's done a lot of good stuff. Um, I've done things here and there. All I really do is just go to places and record people and talk to them. So I don't know if that's that much, but it's fun. And yeah, no, definitely. SJ is not arrogant at all. Is he? Is there any? Has there been any time that SJ has been cocky about stuff? Not that I can remember. But he is pretty competitive, and you can ask him about how competitive he is, about wanting for things to be as good as they can be. Um, but yeah, well, why don't we do this? I've been kind of rambling on and on. A lot of it has kind of been things that I've encountered even just the past few weeks, which has been pretty crazy to me, uh, and kind of what's to come, even though I'm not completely sure. Any questions that you guys have for me about just things that are happening, any questions about maybe bands that I can answer. I feel like maybe you guys did ask a question or two and I missed it. So if I did, please feel to drop it again and I'll try to pay more attention right now. Anything? Nothing at all? Okay, then I'm going to read not a quote because I said it. It's not really a quote. A tweet. Although, what do you? Oh, any plans to get an interview with Bright Air and Asterism? Asterism, I'm going to be seeing them at their free show next Monday. They'll be actually performing in front of this huge consumer electronics store, and I'm going to record them if I'm given the opportunity. Hopefully, I can talk to them there if it's possible. And if that's not okay, then I'll record their live performance, and then I'll ask if I can interview them when I see them at their next show. So I'm actually going to be seeing Asterism 3 times this year. The first will be their live show, and they're actually doing 2 sets or 2 separate hours. The second time, I believe it's just their one man. They're coming to Osaka, and then again in December when they're with Bright Ear and a few other bands. With Bright Ear, I would love to. I kind of have a crush on those girls. They're just like, I don't know. They're like those really cool college girls. Even though that sounds so terrible. I'm thinking of when I used to be in college. Not. Yeah. Um. Oh, okay, that's cool to hear. That's great to hear, Peter. Um, but they're just like those really cool like girls like you went to classes with, and they're just really chill. But they're like the cool chill girls. Um, yeah, I guess I could talk to them. That's a good idea. Yeah, no, absolutely. Asterism, I think one of the things I really appreciate about what Asterism is doing, Saiseiga did it, Doll Parts did it. Oh, thanks so much, man. Thank you. Chedo. You're I'm not sure what you mean by do it. Do what? Do what exactly? But thank you so much for the donation. Any donation that we receive on this channel, it's awesome. Thank you. It helps a lot. At some point and in some way, hopefully we can upgrade some equipment because I'm working with some not slightly shady stuff. Slightly shady. What do you mean, do it? I don't know what that is. But yeah, I would love to interview them. Um, oh, Bright Air actually was interviewed by a reactor. Her name is Matsu Patty. You may have seen that a couple of months ago, and I did tweet about that, but it wasn't really mentioned. Um, I think on our channel, but yeah, I interact with Natsumi a lot on Twitter, and so I think maybe I can reach out to her. Um, but they're all really cool girls. I don't know, they're just really chill. Um, And yeah, next to Bandmate, Bright Ear was one of my favorite bands when I first came to Japan. I just never really like delved deep into them. But, I love Kimmy's voice. I love her lyrics. She's got a very specific voice that stands out of the crowd. There are certain bands who have similar styles, whether it be their tone, their color, their vibrato, and so it kind of blends, they kind of meld into each other. But Bright Ear has never done that. I think they're really separate. So, yeah, man, it's so interesting because once you start dealing with management really just means like the person that you sort of that manages you, but it's according to that person, what their values are, what their goals are, what they're maybe afraid of, things that they want. Um, so it varies. It really, really varies. Ultimately, you want to promote the band as much as you can. You want to make as much profit as possible. You want them to be healthy. You want them to really be able to just, again, you want these bands to be maximized. And so this is what I was going to read off to you on Twitter X. And I posted this today, and I'm curious what you guys think about this, which I don't think you're going to disagree at all. Okay. So, all right. I said this a few hours ago. Japanese bands need to realize just how much value their music has and to start thinking and aiming globally. Your audience is the world, not Japan. You could easily increase popularity and profit through working towards a world audience, acknowledging and working towards a world audience in quality media, goods, and accessibility. Ah, really, Onishi-san? Maybe you can help me out. That would be cool. That'd be really awesome if maybe you could help me connect. But we'll talk. We'll talk this weekend. I'm really excited too. So for those of you who are joining in now, um, Blacklisted Records is here with us, Onishi-san. And from what I have heard from both Hades and from Kanye Keiko is that this guy is one of the coolest guys. Um, Kanye Keiko said, "Oh, we're his children." So you are the big daddy or the big brother to a lot of these groups, and that's awesome to hear that there's that type of relationship. I really appreciate that. Um, yeah, so these bands really, um, the last thing that you want to see is people with really massive talent have it squandered. Um, I don't know if you know about uh again, it all management really is like that one person, right? The manager. Manager is that one person who has a very specific value system, a way of seeing things, and of what they think is appropriate, correct, a goal, it's a value, it's what they believe. And so this will affect everything about how the band is run and what is allowed and what is not allowed, what is encouraged, what is not encouraged. So I think some managers have a very narrow view, others have a very broad, open view. And at least in terms of foreigners, we are fortunate if we encounter bands who are run under a more open-minded management because that allows more opportunities, more exposure, and more promotion, which means that their music will get pushed. There's an opportunity to see who they are, I think, as people, which I think they should do, especially in this multimedia age with social media, with Instagram, with Twitter, well, Facebook is really now for old people, right? For TikTok, which is another huge way to really get to an audience these days. So you have to know how to take advantage of all the different forms of communication. Hey, is this Cheryl or and Greg? What's up? Guys, so Brutality is with us. Brutality is the channel and the group. Greg and Cheryl, who are really just oh, nice. Nice. Oh, that's interesting. We need to talk a lot. Okay, so Brutality is going to be promoting Hades by putting up their interview very soon. Brutality, can you confirm exactly what day and time with the people who are watching? That would be awesome if you could do that. Yes, SGBC. And since SGBC is here, and I know that their love for Whiskey Dust is like no other, check that out. So I actually did this. I actually did this in one of the interviews. I'll show you why I have four Hades CDs. Um, this was back in April when it released. So Friday night, 7 p.m. EST. Okay, so Hades, their interview is this Friday, 7 p.m. EST, 4 p.m. PST, and gosh darn it, what is that Japanese time? It is Saturday. Later on. All right. So this CD, which is not signed, came with this poster, which is signed, which is right next to a Sala poster, which is signed. This one came, oh, no problem at all. I was happy to translate. I hope I didn't screw it up, and I hope it turned out well. 8 a.m. Japanese time. All right, so this was signed. It was a different postcard. This was from SA Music in Osaka. That place, if you guys ever come to Osaka, visit SA Music. That place has a hell of a lot of history with Japanese rock and metal bands. And you have these posters from like years ago, years ago. Um, this one, I believe, was Disc Union. Yeah, Disc Union. So it was a different signed one. And then this one was signed along with a DVD R of one of their songs live. I forget which one. It might have been Dark Heroin. Not not heroin as in like the drug, but like heroin. I don't want to confuse you guys or make you think that Hades is advocating drug use. Oh man, yeah, I would be so happy to be on your channel, SGBC. I don't think it's that interesting, but it's kind of fun, especially this year. Um, yeah. Thanks, man. Yeah. You know, when I ended up discovering Hades back in March, I saw their music video for uh why can't I think of it? I'm thinking of Just Bring It. No, Bring It On. Bring It On. um I couldn't stop listening to that song. There was just something about the song, about the video, the energy, the excitement. Mayo just blew me away, just even in the video. Sala, just couldn't take my eyes off of her. Everyone just had something. And so, going to their show, um, going to their show that night and experiencing them live and just being blown away. And some of you, I hopefully you won't take it personally or be offended, especially if you're a bandmate fan or some other fan. But Hades in particular, their music, their style, their energy, every band has a different style and energy. Hades has something that brings out this really, really like primal like madman in me, like the caveman in me, and like in the best way possible. So I completely lose all humanity, and I'm like just on all fours, like ah. Hades does that to me, and I like it. It's nice to lose, like all of that. Yeah, no, they absolutely are. Brutality. If you guys, Greg and Cheryl, if you ever get a chance to come to Japan, you gotta check them out live. But there's a good chance. There's a chance that Hades might go out to the States, and if Hades goes out to the States, then you guys will get to experience that firsthand as well. So yeah, Hades is one of those bands. Like I don't want to, I don't want to disregard um, or talk badly about other bands when I say that their performance is great, but maybe their CD isn't, or their CD is great and their performance isn't. I'll say though with Hades that as much as I love their studio recording, when you see them live, it's just like it really is just like they're a band that just sets the whole house on fire. Like everybody is burning alive during their live performance. Amazing, amazing, phenomenal experience. And there's very few bands for me personally that can do that, and it differs. Like you're gonna find that some people really enjoy the technical aspect. They like people who maybe are shredders. They like people who have a lot more complexity and they experience music differently. For me, I have again sort of different joys, different experiences, different senses that like capture me with different bands and different things about them. And with Hades, it's really just brutal. Yeah. So, yeah, you know what? That is my personal goal for Hades. My personal goal for Hades is for them to get out to the States at least once. Um, and why not next year, right? You just have to push for it, make it a goal, and just do it. Make a decision. So that's there's a lot of bands I love to see in the States, but Hades is definitely one of them. They are a band that if you experience them live, and I, there's zero doubt that they would be embraced by by America or Europe or South America, wherever. Uh, yeah, I make it so. Well, um, I'll stay in contact with them. I'll help them out in any way possible. Brutality Crew will help them out. The Foxhole will help them out. People, again, have really gained interest in them, and that's a good sign. So we'll just try to keep the ball rolling. And Onishi-san is just an amazing guy. Really, really, so friendly, so supportive. And if anything, it's great because I want to kind of give back to him and oh, hey, Greg. Also, it was Cheryl before then. So now this is Greg. What's up, man? Um, you're out in Atlanta. Yeah, and if Hades does go out to the States, um, I will do everything that I possibly can to go out there with them to help them with interpreting stuff, and just to support them and to lead them to all the best places to eat, maybe where to avoid. But yeah, I would love to go out on tour with Hades and just be there for them in any way possible as well. So, oh, Sala just tweeted out about Hades' second anniversary. Um, hold on, I'm gonna take a quick look at this and see what she wrote. Oh, is it just 2 years today? Oh, I had no idea. Is that right? Is it today? Today is Hades' birthday. What what are the chances? What are the chances of it being Hades' birthday while we're talking about Hades? Um, that's really cool. They are 2 years old. For those who don't know, they used to be Azazel with their previous lead singer Miyabi. She left the band, and during the interim, they had a rotation of guest vocalists, and Sara was just one of them. But she really fit the shoe the best, so she ended up becoming their Cinderella, you could say. But yeah, if you go to Twitter now and if you look up Sara's account and Hades' account actually, um, they say 応援いつもありがとうございます. 本日ヘイディーズお誕生日を迎えました。まだ2歳。よちよち歩き始めたっての。Sorry. They're just saying, hey, they're only 2 years old, they're still toddlers, and they're really looking forward to your continued support. So, um, yeah, I definitely believe that Hades is going to grow up to be one fine, powerful, just world conquering woman or band. So, okay. Yeah, that's really awesome. I had no idea. Now I feel like I need to do something for them or to support them even more for their birthday. Very cool. Very cool. Um, yeah, let's bring it to America. Uh, Let me say this also for anybody who's watching this, whether it be live stream or whether it be later when this is an archive. If you really want a band to come out to where you are, be willing to put your money where your mouth is, because these bands will need your support financially as well as otherwise. You can promote them, you can talk about them, you can share all the love in their music, but they're gonna need like practical, physical, um, monetary means to not only get to where you are, but to continue on tour where they're at. And hopefully not just to come back empty handed. As much as the promotion is great, which is what Asterism did, right? They played live free shows. Um, but if these bands can come back with a little bit, in their pocket, that means they can come back and they can continue making more new music, doing bigger things, better promotion, all of these things. So that's my encouragement to you guys, because for a lot of us, we're consumers. Yeah, sorry. Today was a little bit of a long one. Um, we're used to just being consumers, right? We see something, we consume it, and we end it right there. It's fine. Yay, I loved it. But in this digital age, in this age of social media, there's a lot more back and forth that can happen between fans and artists. And because of that, and because of the opportunities that allows, I really, really want to encourage you guys to, if you see an opportunity to invest in a band in some way, and again, financially, not just in like, oh, thank you guys, I love you so much. Oh, you're so cute. Oh, today you were so wonderful. Oh, heart, 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 happy, happy, happy. Not just that, but really, really just supporting them in like every way possible. This increases their chances of staying together as a band, becoming successful as a band, and giving you maybe some of the best stuff that you've ever had in your life. So, oh, 쿠야, 今見てますか? あ、쿠야, 見れば挨拶できないですか? Sorry, I'm being really cute and gross. Um, but yeah, I really want to look more into what's available for some of these bands. Um, in terms of not just promoting them, but trying to also um, see what kind of profit can be made in different ways. Because yeah, I think I generally want to look a little bit more into this and see how these bands can grow, and again have more opportunities. And a big part of having more opportunities, realistically, is having more money. If you have more money, if you have more funding, wherever it comes from, um, you can do more music videos, you can do more albums, you can do more shows, you can do more merch. Again, it's just a fact of life, right? People survive because they have money or whatever that money ends up, doing. Yeah, please, absolutely, absolutely hit me up. Because there is a growing community of foreigners who will will kill for more Japanese music, um, because it is to die for, right? So um, I think we need to embrace the community that we have. I think we need to understand just how powerful, just how powerful fans can be when they come together. One person can't do it alone, but if we all come in together, if we all invest, if we all encourage, if we all support in some way, and we have a goal and we set out for it, things can happen. And that's how a lot of things happened with MNN. Things that SJ put together, things that I put together, things that maybe some of you guys have put together. Um, so yeah, you know what, Michael, I absolutely agree. And I can't, because again, it's not my job, and I'm not getting paid for this. But I would love to explore how to get merchandise more accessible, and easy for foreigners. I know there's CD Japan. I know there's JPU Records. I know there's Setsuoka for Bright Ear and for other bands as well. But um, I want to see if bands will be more open, if management will be more open and willing to try to find the absolutely easiest means of connecting fans to things that they want. Because Onishi-san, if you're still here, and for anybody else who is watching, the more obstacles and barriers you put in the way, the more difficult you make things, the more you're pretty much just like kicking yourself in the foot. Um, I was watching a video of Steve Jobs and the first iMac, and one of the huge and big things he said about this iMac and why and how he sold it is that you turn on the computer, you plug in, and you're on the internet. That is two steps. There is no step three. So he basically thought about the consumer, what would be easiest for them and best for them, and work towards that, the product towards what would be best for them. And so a lot of Japanese bands, their management, these companies need to think about is that the absolute easiest avenue and way that there is for consumers of music, of merch, of all these things, supporters of these bands, the easier it is, I mean, good goodness, how much easier, whether it be low shipping costs, whether it be things translated in English, that's a huge barrier. Um, I know for a lot of you, the minute you see a lot of Japanese, you're like, oh, that's not for me, and you turn away. Rather than even using a translator, it's like, oh, I can put this article into a translator and I can read it, even though it's a bit jumbled. But nope, it's like that extra step is the reason why people will not do it or come back. So if you can make it one step, two steps at most, make it easy. So there's a lot of different things I've been thinking about. Um, and one of the things that I love to do, one of the things that I love to do is I love connecting fans to bands, which is what I did for Bandmate for numerous years. I was always trying to see what I could do to try to connect fans to Bandmate, and trying to connect Bandmate to the fans, which is why some of the things I did graphically, trying to get people together, to do these projects was such a huge thing to me, because I wanted the existence of each other to be recognized. And that's how I still feel about these other bands, is that to recognize, to acknowledge, and to do things to help each other out in the best way possible. So, um, yeah, Japanese management really needs to start looking for bilingual employees who can translate, who can simplify, who have a better understanding of Western culture, and who can say, no, this is too complicated. Japanese people might be willing to go through a few hoops. Westerners aren't. They will not, and they don't want to. And only the most stubborn and like persistent ones will. But that's far and few between. So, um, yeah. Anyhow, this talk has gone on for quite a long time. I appreciate all of you guys for having stuck around this far. Um, yeah, yeah. Um, so I really want, yeah, all I really want is for the best stuff to get out there. That includes Hades. That it always includes Bandmate, of course, obviously. Um, and that includes just a huge number of bands that I've seen this year, and that's like a drop in a bucket, right? Um, there are bands that I've seen. I'm like, all right, that's not for me. But then there are bands that just blow me away, and I am absolutely, yes, I do still have the sticker that I am absolutely just head over heels for, and I love them. Oh, Mr. Pighow, who is this? Thank you for Hong Kong dollars 500. I don't know how much that is, but that's okay. I'll figure it out later. Thank you so much for supporting. I really appreciate that. Um, yeah, awesome. Wow. Yeah, absolutely. Brew Crew. I am here, and I believe that my purpose in Japan is not only uh, to eat discounted sushi, but my purpose is to help make connections with bands and their fans. I did get sleep. I have been getting sleep. It's been nice, but I need to start getting less sleep and start doing more work. Um, I do want to say that um, there are tattoos. The 10th anniversary tour updates will still be coming up. They will still be going out. Um, okay. Thanks, Hedo. I appreciate that. I will. I'll keep on doing it. I'll just keep on doing it. Um, tattoos are still going out. There's a whole like number of shows coming up. For this coming weekend, I'm gonna actually be in Nagoya for Hades, Vanishing, and Helldump. But there will be Kevin, yeah, no, absolutely. The Flappy Pigeon, right? Kelvin Hell, yeah. I do remember. Thank you so much for the Made in Japan CD. That that kind of blew me away. Um, so SJ will be taking up tattoo duties for Akita, taking care of that. Um, let's see, Sendai is coming up, Hokkaido. I'm going to be actually doing a full weekend for Hokkaido. So the 13th will be at Penny Lane 24, and then the 15th, Misa's birthday, will be at Otaru. Uh, and we have something special in store, so stay tuned for that. Oh, let me just quickly just show my gratitude to um, just how good I think following bandmate can be. So I did get Miku's pick. I do also have her Clupo pick. Don't fall, don't fall. Misa's pick. And then Akane's drumstick, which is way too cool. So Kanami, if you're watching, which you're probably not, can you just hand me a pic? I'll be as cute as possible. You know, I'll appreciate you. So yeah. Um, and this is actually a really special thing to me too. Uh, this is actually Yuri's pick. So Yuri, the bassist from Hades. So the first show I went to, this was actually taped up on display, and there was another pic, and I said, you know what? I kind of want this. Can I have it? She said, yeah, sure. Ah, that is actually a good idea. Ah, there's so many shows. Holy crap. Ah, that's a shame, Chester. If you had some, well, I want the Konami pick, but I don't know what I could give you. I don't have extra. Actually, there is special stuff I have, but I can't get into it because it's too special. And I kid you not, it's really really special. Um, and I can't even tell you how I got it. So deal with that. uh, all right, ladies and gentlemen, you have been with me for quite a while, and thank you so much. It is Tuesday for a lot of you. No, it's Wednesday. Sorry, it's Wednesday for a lot of us. Um, Chika, from Hanabie. Very cool. Nice, nice. Yeah, Hanabi is kind of the big thing coming up, right? We actually did an interview with his name is Hiro Tajima, and Hiro Tajima is actually the guy who runs J Rock tours for Tokyo, and he has seen like all these bands that you know grow up because he's been at this for like 7 years or so. But we did an interview with him, and he was actually someone that, if I'm not mistaken, he funded, if not the first, one of the videos for Hanabiye. And he's got a cool story, and he's got a really cool perspective as well. So that interview is coming up. But, okay, real quickly, before I finish this video, this Friday night, this Friday night, I am going to put up my interview with Whiskey Dust. I've been really busy, so it was really tough, but their video is going to be coming up. In addition to that, there will be a couple of other interviews with some other smaller bands that you may not have heard of, like Electric Mama and Pinkish Crown, but they're definitely bands that I would encourage you to check out. Sorry, a little burp. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I hope you guys enjoy the day and stay in touch. Please, if you have ideas for anything, put out comments. Yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to. Um, please put out comments. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please do so. We are almost at 2,500. And if we can hit 2,500 before our 1 year anniversary, that would be awesome. So can you guys go ahead and subscribe, please like, and please comment as always, because this does help the algorithm and gets our message out there. Thank you guys so much for following. SJ and I are always forever in your debt. I feel like I am more so. But SJ too. So thank you guys. Any last goodbyes? Donuts. Any last few words before we say goodbye? Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, thank you guys. You guys have been awesome, and I cannot believe I've been at this for nearly 90 minutes. Thanks, guys. Sing? Are you asking me to sing? I koso hane meri mienai genso. I haru nara subete sarake dashite. 愛してると胸に刻み込んで捧げ never ever. Something like that. Sorry, bandmate. 申し訳ありませんでした. Alright guys, I'll see you again. Bye. You guys are awesome. Thank you. See you guys later. Bye.